Hello slashing friends, in this video I'll give you my Storm Druid in order for you to run on T100 Nightmare Dungeons on the Season 3 of Diablo 4. You'll see that it's quite fun and powerful build to play, and if it's not done already and that you like the content, don't forget to subscribe. I'll start this video by how the combo is working, because Lightning Storm is a channeling spell and you still want to proc Nature's Fury in order to have the cooldown radius of Earth and Bulwark, but also to cast an additional spell which is just here. So you'll see that there's a simple trick, but you need to know how it works. The thing is that at the beginning you'll want to have channel Lightning Storm. So I will just be like that and I'll have my spell which is channel. And the idea is that if I keep channeling, I won't be able to have the landslide. I had it at the first time, but you'll see I keep channeling, and as you can see it doesn't proc anymore. Of course this combo would be bad without the tip. So the tip is simple. Once you have it, you just need to spam click in order to proc it. As you can see, it will easily proc the landslide and give you some additional damage. So this is the first thing that you need to understand. The other one is that since we have the landslide proccing, when I cast my Earthen Bulwark, if I use this spell, it will easily reduce the cooldown. So it's quite fast, and the idea is that you'll always be able to be unstoppable and also to gain the barrier from Earthen Bulwark. So this combo is quite good, you just need to do that. If you are in a dungeon, you can wait a bit. You see that the time is quite long enough, and when you need, simply click it once again in order to reset the cooldown of the channeling. So you'll be able to keep the max stack of Lightning Storm with this setup and also use the Nature's Fury. So make sure to fully understand how it works, and if it's not clear, you can also post in the comments, I'll be happy to answer you. Then we have some other spell. The buffies from the Werbear and the Werewolf, and we have Cataclysm as our ultimate. When you use Cataclysm, it will group enemies on you and will be very good to kill your enemies. Also, we don't use a base attack because we have enough spirit generation and you won't need anytime a basic attack, making this build very comfort to play. The Cyclone Armor will grant you additional non-physical damage reduction, which is quite good for just one skill point. For the gear, you'll want to play the Tempest Roar in order to be into a werewolf when you use the Lightning Storm. It will also help you to generate spirit. For the armor, you want increased armor, damage reduction, if possible some life, werewolf skill damage, and even if the barrier from Earthen Bulwark is based on your base life, it's okay since we'll also use the barrier from the Seneschal in order to be at around 70k barrier and 70k life. Then you want the new unique, which is quite broken on this build, and dispense in order to have additional damage reduction from poison enemies, some life and some stats. If you are doing bosses, you can also swap for T-Bot in order to have a boost of damage. For the boots, you want to have the fact that Nature's Fury will reduce the cooldown of Earthen Bulwark, and you want on it some stats, damage reduction, spirit cost reduction, and also movement speed. If you want, you can also use Flicker Step in order to always have your cooldown on your ultimate. You also want for the weapon an axe in order to increase your damage to LC enemies, willpower, critical strike damage, on lightning skill, core skill damage, damage to close enemies, and the fact that you'll have increased core damage based on Fortify. You also want for the offhand landslide, which will do a second pillar, and the fact that you'll have some stats, resource generation, critical strike chance, and cooldown reduction. You want the unique ring in order to pull enemies, but also to gain up to 15% of willpower, which is quite good, and this one in order to deal increased damage under a barrier. You'll want critical strike chance, lightning critical strike damage, damage to close enemies, and lucky hit chance. Finally, for the amulet, the fact that when you cast a storm skill, you'll have increased damage to earth, but also increased critical strike chance for storm skill. I will show you, see that it's quite easy to do. If I have the proc, I will have both passives, which are quite good with the build. For the amulet, you'll want to have some damage reduction, and why not a good passive for your druid. Now for the blessing, you'll want to have some damage reduction, additional life, and increased critical strike damage. If you see that you have enough life, you can also go for increased critical strike chance or attack speed, and then the fact that you'll have spirit on a lucky hit. You also want finally to have a cooldown reduction on your ultimate just here. For the Seneschal, you want to play the resource support to always be full of spirit, fortification to help you be fortified, and this one to help you put enemies vulnerable. You want on it the Tempest in order to proc this. You want protect if you are doing some nightmare dungeons with duration, tactical, and safeguard support. And if you're doing bosses, you'll want to swap protect with flash of adrenaline to boost your DPS. For the skill tree, you just want to put 2 points in order to reach this one and have the fact that you'll immobilize enemies. Then you want to get 5 points here, the fact that you can create another landslide and increase damage for core skill. The remaining points just here, fortification, 1 point here, the increased attack speed, fortification, and this one some resistances. Then you go here to take 2 points in order to make enemies vulnerable on storm skill, and this one to have more damage on your earth skill. You also want to poison enemies, increase damage to poison enemies, critical strike damage to poison enemies. This one to have increased damage to allies, and this one for increased damage on vulnerable and immobilized enemies. Lastly, of course, Nature's Fury. For the Paragon, you'll want to get this in order to increase your damage in Werewolf and also some damage reduction. Then you want to get this one to increase your damage after using 75 spirit. Then you can get this one, and this one, and get this glyph in order to have additional core skill damage. You'll also deal damage to vulnerable or crowd control enemies. Then you move here, take increased damage while fortified and damage reduction. The spirit cost reduction, you'll overall be always at 30% spirit reduction. You can get this one for the critical strike damage. Even if we don't play in physical damage, it's still good to have this value. Then we get here, get increased critical strike damage, the fact that critical strike will restore some spirit in Werewolf, and then you want to get this one, the last one, boosting increased damage to close enemies. Also for these nodes, as you can see, I lack a bit of dexterity and intelligence, so if you want you can also put some stats, for example on your boots or your pants, in order to reach the bonuses. I'll finish with the gameplay, and just keep in mind that the only thing you need to care about is to be always at max stack of the storm. Otherwise it's simple, use your buffies when they are available and just use the storm in order to kill your enemies. When you want, you can use your ultimate in order to have additional damage and also to pack the mobs. I choose this dungeon because it's the most difficult that you can do with this setup, because when you kill your enemies you have a chance that they explode. So it's quite boring to do with this build, but I wanted to show the worst case possible, and you'll see that it's still quite easy to do. I also wanted to show you some gameplay with Lilith. For now it's a bit early to do her with this setup as you lack a bit of DPS, but I wanted for you to have every information if you want to play this build. Thanks for watching this video. I hope that you have plenty of fun with this build, and if something is not clear, make sure to post in the comment. I'll be happy to answer you.